In this video, we will be covering library research and finding articles. Try to identify what are the most important terms of your topic. In this case, it's air pollution and people's health. Both of those things are very broad and vague. Try to zero in on something specific within each of your areas. For example, air pollution, you're going to need to zero in on something a little bit more specific, like smog, smoke, or wildfire. For people's health, that's also a broad general term. Try to focus on something specific within people's health that is going to be affected by a specific type of pollution. For example, asthma, respiratory, or lungs. We've turned our sentence into simple keywords. Air pollution, respiratory, California. Smog, asthma, California. Wildfire, respiratory, California. Those are the terms that you can search the library's catalog and databases with and begin to find research terms that match those keywords. There's no guarantee that there's going to be enough research on your topic. You might have to adjust your topic. You might have to go more specific, or you might have to go a little bit more vague. When you're looking at your search results, look for synonyms. Those are new words to use to replace your keywords with. When you start your library research, you're going to begin at the library's home site. That's library.sjsu.edu. The resources that we'll be talking about today are Articles Plus, Google Scholar, and research guides. Articles Plus is a feature of the library's catalog that focuses on scholarly materials, particularly articles. When you begin a search in Articles Plus, you will see a results screen like the one on the right. The first thing you want to do is sign in. The sign in link is up at the top right corner. You'll sign in with your Tower ID and password, and this is going to let you save items and save searches. You might be tempted to immediately start looking through your results list, but I want to encourage you to first set up some filters. The filters are on the left side of the search results. The key filters for searching for articles are selecting peer-reviewed journals under availability, pick articles under resource type, and if you have a specific date range, you can enter that in under date. If you don't have a specific date range, consider limiting it to the last 10 or 15 years. That way you'll begin your search looking at the most recent and current findings and research topics. But don't forget, old research isn't bad. So at some point you might want to remove your date limiter and look at things that came before 2015 or 2010. Once you select those filters, the page will refresh, and up at the very top of your active filters, you're going to want to remember all filters. Lock those in, so this will let you create multiple searches and keep the filters so you won't have to set them up every time. Start looking through your results list and try to identify some research terms. So we began our search with simple keywords, but the research isn't going to use the exact same terms that we searched with. The research is going to use their specific terminology. For example, if you were looking for something on the effects on grades, you would want to change grades into academic performance or academic achievement. So look for reoccurring terms, look for synonyms, and then you run your search again in Articles Plus with those research terms. In your results list, you're going to see one of two types of availability. You'll see under the titles it says requested from other libraries, or it'll say full text available, get PDF. Clicking on the get PDF full text available, that will take you within a couple clicks directly to the PDF full text of the article. However, if we don't have immediate access to it, you can click on requested from other libraries. This will begin the ordering process where we will order the article for you at no cost to you. Just make sure that you're signed in, and when the article is ready for pickup, you'll get an email and it'll provide you with a link back to your account where you can pick up the PDF. When you're looking at articles, you might see some up and down arrows above the titles. The up arrow will show you any articles that have used this particular article as a resource. The down arrow will show you this article's bibliography. Searching through those is a good way to find more articles on a topic as well. Any articles that you see and like, remember you can pin and save them by clicking on the pin next to the article's title. Another option for searching for articles is using Google Scholar. Click on the Google Scholar tab and enter in your keywords to run your search. You'll see a list of articles, and on the left you don't have as many filters as you do in Articles Plus, but you can set up the custom date range. If you're interested in getting the PDF of one of these articles, use the Find It at SJSU or the PDF or HTML links on the right. Clicking on Find It at SJSU will take the article's title and run it back through Articles Plus to show you if we have access to the article or not. SJSU librarians have also created research guides. You can access those from the library's homepage. There's a research guide for every major, and it will provide links to the databases for your major, and it will also provide you with some research tips and the information for the librarian that you can contact for help. Every research guide is going to be a little bit different, but look for a link called Finding Articles or Searching Databases. You will then see the recommended databases for your subject area. Also, you will see the librarian and their contact information. Also on the library's homepage, you'll have access to seeing what technology we have for lending, access to study rooms, as well as our citation managers. If you want to borrow technology, it's on the first floor of the library. We have laptops, chargers, equipment, and much more. Study rooms, you can use your SJSU ID to reserve a study room for up to 2 hours a day. And under Cite Your Sources, you'll see the options that we suggest for creating your bibliographies using one of our bibliography managers. Now I'd like to demonstrate some of the steps that we talked about in the slideshow. For the example, I'll be using wildfire, respiratory, and California. And I'll be searching the Articles Plus catalog. So with this search, with those simple keywords, I'm telling Articles Plus I want to find any articles that match those. Those keywords will be anywhere in the title or the abstract. Before you jump into running your searches, remember to sign in. Signing in will let you save your articles using the pin, and it will also let you save the searches. Signing in will let you save your searches as well as saving articles that you find, and you can come back to them later. Everything is going to be stored in your favorites section, which is up in the top right next to your name. Before I begin, I do want to set up those filters on the left. Those were peer-reviewed journals, articles. I will set the date range. We'll check out the first set will be sometime within the last, let's say, 15 years. Apply those filters, and you'll see our active filters in the top left of the screen. Remember to click on Remember All Filters. Those will lock those in, so now we can start changing words as we come across new ones, and it'll remember those filters. The next steps, I'm going to start scanning through my results to see, hopefully I'm on the right track. I'm also going to be looking for any more maybe specific terms. Here I'm using respiratory, but I might need to focus in on specific respiratory issues, like asthma or bronchitis. If you see anything in your results list that could be a synonym for one of your key terms, try running your search again. In this case, we're going to be looking at wildfire, asthma, and any research that's taking place in California or on Californians. The next steps of searching for articles is going to be slow and laborious. You're going to be going through your articles, check those titles, and see if you're on the right track. For example, in number 2, Impact of Wildfire Smoke on Pediatric Asthma Hospital and Emergency Room Department Visits in Northern California. So here we're seeing they are focusing on the wildfires in California and any asthma issues, but this has a special focus on pediatrics or children. Here we have Find Particles in Wildfire Smoke in Pediatric Respiratory Health in California. Very similar to our first article, just a different approach. If you're building a literature review, you're going to be looking for articles that are similar in topic and scope. In this case, this would be a great set of articles to begin research on wildfire's effects on pediatrics or children. This will be the longer steps of the search process. It's going to be a lot of rinsing and repeating with your keywords. You're going to constantly be updating your terms. If you're writing a literature review, you're going to be looking for similar articles that focus on the same topic, maybe a few different aspects of the topic, but you do want to build a collection of articles that are similar in scope and focus. Here's another one: find particles in wildfire smoke and pediatric respiratory health in California. Very similar to that first one that we found, and we might be able to start building a research collection focusing on those key elements with that demographic, pediatrics. In this case, we have a requested from other libraries. Clicking on that and making sure that you're signed in, you'll be able to request the library through Interlibrary Loan. That's a free process. Articles take about anywhere from an hour to a couple hours to process. When you put in your order, you will then receive an email when it is ready. The email will contain a link that takes you back into ILLiad where you can download the PDF. Here's another similar article: Wildfire Smoke Exposure to Early Childhood Respiratory Health, a study of prescription claims. Pediatrics, childhood, it's all within that same scope. If I want to start focusing my research more on that demographic, I'll just add that to our search terms: wildfire, asthma, California, pediatrics. We have much fewer results in this case, only 8, but hopefully they're all focused on the same demographic. It looks like we found a couple more that deal with the pediatric demographic with wildfires in California. I've built a small collection on that focus, but now I can also just change back to different demographics if I want to focus on that as a topic. We could try elderly. Using the search for elderly, it doesn't look like we've got many hits for focusing on elderly in particular. When I scan those, there's nothing dealing with elderly or older. This is going to happen sometimes. Maybe revisit your search terms. Here we're searching for research wildfire and we're focusing on asthma and the elderly. Maybe the elderly don't have these asthma issues, or research on asthma in the elderly haven't occurred yet, so we can also broaden our scope a little bit, possibly removing asthma, and let's just go back to the issue of smoke. But I also see that there's research done outside of California. In this case, it could be the issue that I'm too focused on a particular location. I have to ask myself, would wildfire smoke affect the elderly in California differently than anywhere else? Probably not. So maybe I'll try getting rid of the California limiter and broaden it to wildfire smoke and elderly demographic. I do find a few potential articles of interest. Here's one with wildfire smoke, but this is coming from Canadian forest fires. Anything that might be interesting, I'm going to add it to my favorites, and I'll be able to come back to them later to scan through them. But right now I'm just hunting and gathering for anything that might be useful. Number 6 is an interesting article: The Firestorm Within, a narrative review of extreme heat and wildfire smoke effects on brain health. You might say, how do I know it's focusing on elderly? Well, it might not be focusing on elderly, but they might include research on the elderly within this article. I can see why this was returned, because it does focus at some point, especially on the elderly. So that could contain information that would back up my research. This stage of the research can take a long time, and there's a lot of trial and error. I didn't have a whole lot of results with wildfire smoke and elderly, but it could be that it's just that the research was done prior to 2010. I need to check that out. So I'm going to X out the date range limiter. and I want to see if my search expands. It did not. So that tells me a couple of things. It could be that there's just not a lot of research on the elderly, or I'm using the wrong term. Could be geriatric, maybe nursing homes. Like I said, it takes a lot of trial and error at this point. When you see an article you like, you can click on the article's title to get to the article's page. Here you'll find the citation information, but some of the most important information will be at the bottom, and you can scan the abstract. The abstract's going to tell you what was studied, how it was studied, and the findings and conclusions. This is what I'll read to see if this is an article that lines up with my research topic or if it's something I need to pass and keep looking. If the full text is available, there'll be a PDF or read online link up at the top, but if you happen to not see those, you'll see these blue boxes. You might have one or many. You can click on those and it'll take you to the article in the database where you can grab and read the PDF. Another feature of the library's catalog is up at the top. There's a citation. You can click on that and get a suggestion for what the citation would look like in your bibliography. Please don't copy and paste these. You've got to make sure that they adhere to the proper rules. These automatic citation generators do make mistakes, so please double check. But in most cases, all of the right information is there. There might just be a few formatting issues. I also want to run the search through Google Scholar. Just go through the library's homepage, click on the Google Scholar tab, enter in your key terms, and run your search. Some of the items in the results list are going to be the exact same ones that you saw in Articles Plus, but there are going to be items and some materials that weren't in the Articles Plus list or were arranged differently. There aren't a lot of filters, but you can set up the custom date range. As you scan through your list, you can click on the article's title to get to the article's page online, where you can read the abstract and get an idea if it's something that you want to pursue or not. If you want the PDF itself, look for the PDFs or HTML links. However, if you don't see those, you'll use the Find It at SJSU link. This takes the title of the article and runs it back through Articles Plus, and it brings you to the Articles page in Articles Plus, where you can see if we have access to it or if it's something that you're going to have to put in a request for. In this case, the article is in our Science Direct Journals database, and it does take me to the Articles page where I can view the PDF and download it. Another option for finding research articles is to go to a database that collects and focuses on research within a specific area. For this example, we're going to be looking at biological sciences. To find the biology research guide, all I have to do is go to Research Guides, click on the drop-down menu, and find biology or biological sciences. Pick your discipline and then click Go. On this research guide, there's a list of recommended databases. So these are the databases that focus on research science in this type of area. There's one called PubMed, which is a very important and authoritative biomedical database. You'll search it very similar to how you searched Articles Plus. You're going to see a lot of the same articles that you might have come across in Articles Plus or Google Scholar, but there are going to be things unique to each database as well. PubMed provides a really good set of filters similar to what we saw with Articles Plus. And I'll begin the process again. I'm looking at the last 10 years. Because it's PubMed, this is all going to be research focused. It'll be either in the form of research articles or research reports. It might also summarize clinical trials. It is the exact same process. A lot of rinsing and repeating. Anything that looks interesting, click on the article's title. PDFs aren't usually sitting in PubMed, but what you'll see are links to the right that will direct you to the full text. Here we see that Find It button, and it's the same system that we saw in Find It at SJSU links in Google Scholar. Clicking on that will take the article's title and run it through the library's Articles Plus catalog and show us the different access points where we can grab the PDF for the article. Hopefully that helps you get started with your search process in looking for research articles on a particular topic. Remember, if you get stuck or need help, please reach out to a librarian. You can also see a list of librarians and their subject areas with this link from the library's homepage, and look for the pop-up chat windows. You can chat with a live librarian during regular business hours, and they can help you get started as well.